Well, welcome to 2021 Culture Couch Live, number one for the year, boys. And I suppose, firstly, to everyone watching, all our clients and you guys and all your families, Happy New Year. So welcome, Woz, Jez, Em, how are you all?
Happy New Year, Paul.
Happy New Year.
Em, was it?
And you, Jez?
Now, I think we spoke a bit about the end of last year, the burnout, and I think, Woz, you really focused on that with your staff and, you know, working from home, people were getting up and not, rather than having breakfast or getting on the train or getting in the car, they were going straight into work, you know, and then rather than coming home and spending time with the kids or whatever, you know, they're working and then jumping into bed. So we all acknowledged what a great opportunity was to have a break. So we're going to presume for this call that most people have had a really good break over Christmas and, you know, not that you could go too far in Australia, but gone down to Lorne, Jez near you and down to
Jan, mate. I think half Melbourne's in Torquay at the moment.
Yeah, and down the other area as well. Yeah. But I think starting 2021, which can be a quieter start, particularly in Australia with holidays and school and all that sort of stuff, it's a really, really good opportunity to get a program up and running. So what I want to talk to you about today is the benefits of early in the year, particularly after the year that we've had, and the real benefits of why we should start a program or continue your program or to get you guys in or whatever in that early part of Feb and going into March. So, Jez, I might just kick off with yourself.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things, Ruzi. Funnily enough, I've been busy since the 4th, so I've been working with a whole range of clients over the last couple of weeks. I think the key thing for me is when you reflect back on anything, you learn more from a loss than you do from a win. Yeah. And so I think if 2020 was a difficult year for you and the team, then I think reflecting back on that and understanding what difficult times look like actually helps you get clarity around what you want it to look like. So what good is. And so therefore, I think it's a really good opportunity early in the year. And this is based on some of my experiences in the last 2 weeks. I think it's a really good opportunity early in the year to just get the team together and have a really good chat about how we're feeling, what behaviours are acceptable or not, and what have we learnt. I think what have we learnt is really important at this stage. And so don't waste the not so good year that we've had. I know that sounds a bit weird, but use that as a really good springboard to go forward. So, and don't let it drift, because it's like anything, you sort of, it drifts in your memory. So it becomes less and less clear as you go on. So I know that's probably a very long-winded way of saying, I think it's a really good opportunity to reset and refocus, probably more than any other year I can ever remember. I mean, get some clarity about what you didn't like, what you want it to look like, and then just go forward. And I've had some amazing sessions in the last couple of weeks, like, you know, really, really interesting work.
Yeah, and the one you and I have been doing together, it's been great, hasn't it? Because they had a really difficult year. And I don't think I've been in a session in the last 3 years where they were so quick to articulate unacceptable behaviours. And it really is what you're talking about. It's been so easy for them to, as bad as the year was, they're really quick to identify, then flipping it over, going, well, this is what's acceptable. So they've been really clean and sharp and to the point. Those sessions we've been involved in you had some big wins last year, but obviously some challenges as well. So it's the sort of ups and downs of running your business. So what do you see coming into, you know, obviously we're close to the end of Jan and coming into Feb. What do you see for your team? And again, the same question, why is it important for your team and other teams to start the year off with some really good work around their culture and behaviours and performance?
I think this is a platform right now, given last year, you're looking at, you know, a large majority of your workforce being at home. So you sort of have to adapt to people working remotely and using, you know, the technologies to dial into meetings like we are now and engage. But now but in Australia specifically, you've got the opportunity to define what the new workforce looks like, where you're partially at home and you're partially remote. And if you don't set the framework properly, I think, to add to that, I think that last year, as much as people were remotely, if your work had continuity, a lot of people, like you said in your opening statement, are probably a little bit burnt out because you didn't have a start and a stop to the end of the workday. So being a little bit burnt out, even though you might have had a couple of weeks off over Christmas, you sort of, we're already in Q1 and I've got a whole year ahead of me, and geez, I'm not very motivated. And January, February are the periods of time when people start looking for new jobs because they're like, well, I need a fresh start. I need to go somewhere else because I'm just a bit tired of where I am. So I think it's more so I see it as the opportunity as a group or an organisation, as a leadership. This is an opportunity to define what the new culture looks like, almost like you're going back to a startup. And so you have this platform to take advantage of the next couple of months to really drive home what this year looks like, but more importantly, re-energize the team, like define the behaviours and framework to which you do start your day, you do end your day, you do run your meetings, all those things. So you can have a much more engaged team, a much more connected team, a higher performing culture, which is only going to lead to more retention of staff, happier workplace and things like that. So I think for me, the statement is less about, should we do it or not? That'd be great. It's almost should be like non-negotiable that we go through and actually start off the year with that. So for Medifarm Labs, we in Australia, we had a high performing have a high performing culture. That led to a really good year last year. I'd say it has led to a bit of burnout because of the teams being so engaged, connected, and wanting to deliver specifically with the challenges that are around us. In Canada, we've started off the year with the performance and culture workshops that Emil's been running, and the feedback already is just unbelievable. I'm getting messages day by day because we are utilising the framework and the program that they've never had before. And I believe this year is going to be a really energetic year for the company because of us doing it at this stage of the evolution of the business.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because even if you've done a lot of work, to your point, some of your behaviours, because of the way we're working, might have changed. You might have to do more connection because we're a little bit remote. So even if you've done a lot of work around it, it's an opportunity now to plan, particularly in Australia. And what are those new behaviours? You don't have to change them necessarily, but there might be some things that have come up through that. So it's a great point. Em, you're a little bit different because you're sort of in and out of lockdown over there in Canada, and there's still a fair degree of certainty. But I suspect it's still, obviously incredibly important to either start or continue what some of the companies are doing over there in relation to workshops.
Yeah, well, we've actually gone back into lockdown again. So there's the uncertainties come back again. So the big thing that I'm finding with our clients over here and even in Australia is the importance, to Jez's point, of taking reviewing with the team is the big thing that I've been doing a lot lately, and helping leaders understand that it's not on them to fix it all up and make sure that they get it right. Like, do reviews with your team, build your structures with your team so that you get on the boat together and, you're on the journey together, as opposed to thinking that you have to do it sort of on your own and drive it as a leader, because then it becomes too much pressure. So that internal connection piece is really big, and do it with the team is what I'm driving a lot with my teams over here. And again, once you've got that structure, and again, I've just done a big review of a few different teams' data. The thing that keeps coming up is what worked and what didn't is when we stopped sticking to the structure, when we stopped our meetings, when we made them ad hoc, we didn't schedule them. So again, I harp on the system piece of it and the scheduling piece of it, because that's what takes the chance out of it, right? And again, the threat of the loneliness, because of the uncertainty, we're going to see people, hiding, being silent. If their job's in jeopardy, they're more likely to go, well, if I'm quiet and I stay under the radar, then I'm more safer. we can't afford that. That's taking a chance on our progress. We've got to move pretty quick and beat pretty fast now because, again, we're not quite sure exactly what's going to happen. And over here, again, we've got 4,000 cases here in Ontario. It's not a great mindset for a lot of teams. So run the reviews with your team, get your systems right, and then stick to them. Don't veer off. When the pressure hits, stick to the structure.
Yeah, fantastic, boys. And I think was what you said. It should be a non-negotiable. I mean, we see so much progress, when people do it. And to your point, Em, we see them regress when they don't do it. So if you haven't done it, get out and do it. Get some of your work done really early in the year. If you haven't, you've dropped off it, pick it up again. And if you're a real believer, like most of our clients are now, just keep doing it. There's some real opportunity to be had in 2021. So great tips, boys.
I think, Rosie, I was just going to pick up a sort of build on Emil's point a bit. I think that the critical thing is it doesn't culture or diminishing standards don't happen overnight.
Yeah.
I think
really
that's
slippery.
really important. So it just sort of drifts and drifts and drifts, and all of a sudden you start accepting stuff that you wouldn't previously have accepted, and then you get to a point where you go, wow, why are we accepting this now? And so I think that's also part of that check-in or review, as Emil called it. Like having that early means that you, instead of drifting, particularly when people are remote, if you can get people together or not, but do your review and then and reset everything. And it just stops that sort of, and then you don't have to have that sort of big come to Jesus moment where we all sit around and how did we get here?
Yeah,
it's interesting, Jez, on that point. I mean, it's funny when people are talking about the Swans. They think we sort of had one meeting and then suddenly the Bloods culture emerged. And it was like, and even under Johnny Longmire, like, you've done well for sort of 12, 15 years. Like, hang on, it's actually something you have to work on. It's not something that you have one meeting and someone says, let's be the Bloods and this is what we're going to do and we're going to win a premiership. So 100% right. Doesn't matter what stage your company's at, keep it going, keep working on it. It's just moving part all the time, but the more you work on it, the more you engage with your team and the more you're honest with the real talk and getting your culture code, the better you're going to be. So look, everyone have a fantastic 2021. Once again, Happy New Year. And it's great to see you boys. And we're really excited about, hopefully what we can bring to companies during the upcoming year. So thanks, guys. Talk to you next week.
Thanks, boys.
We should have some poppers at this point.
Where are they?
We've got some music.
Happy New Year, everybody.
All right,
Thanks,
see you guys.
guys.
Thanks.